finally Andrew Tate's been arrested. Dude, he's fucked. He's actually cooked. Dude, I've been looking into this. I think that actually there is no way out for this man. There was a way out. I think there was one way out, and I think that he couldn't take it, and the way out was shut the fuck up and you would have got away with everything. It's very easy to be a millionaire sex trafficker and get away with it. It's actually the way to get away with anything. If you have enough money and you shut the fuck up, all you have to do is not post about your crimes. Do you know how much heroin I've sold in the last few weeks? Damn, now I got to quit selling it because I talked about it. Like, it's one thing to be a disgusting, violent sex trafficking monster. It's another thing to be like vlogging about it. Do you know what I mean? What are you doing that for? Are you like, how stupid do you have to be to release fucking $100 a month courses on how to traffic women sexually? I don't understand it, but I think he's cooked, and I'm going to tell you why. Okay, the Tate brothers, and I did a video about this, but I've got a more nuanced opinion on it now because I've done a little bit of research, and I've got a very interesting. Oh, it's interesting, and that's why we're talking about it, because that's the show. I find something interesting, and I tell you about it, and you go, "This one was good," or "This one was shit." But most of the time, you go, "This one was late." I'm sorry, I haven't been here for a week. I'm still in I'm trans at the moment. I'm transitioning from one living space to another, but I'm actually settled. I've got all of my shit, and I don't have to go back to Frankston to do any more moving of my copious amounts of shit, which we will get into later into the episode. But yeah, dude, Andrew Tate is cooked. Okay, so from doing some research for my video, and then the story's been developing, I didn't realize like how much trouble he's in multiple countries, because like, sure, the Romania thing was like, let's say that he did everything he's accused of, right? Hypothetically, allegedly in Minecraft. Let's say he did all of it. I reckon you can get away with it in Romania. I think he could have gotten away with it in Romania by bribing everyone and engaging in corruption, but he stupidly decided to brag about how easy it is to bribe corrupt lawmakers and officials in Romania. So obviously they're making an example out of him, you know? Like, if you're bribing a police officer, you don't live stream the next day about bribing the police officer. You're going to get arrested and you're not going to get your money back, even worse. So I didn't realize that the reason why the Tates were in Romania in the first place was they were fleeing charges that were laid upon them by the UK government, or were like about to be laid. So they left the UK for Romania because they had all these pending charges and investigations, and they hadn't really been arrested yet, so they wanted to get out of there and move to Romania. Romania doesn't really extradite people, certainly not while they're currently investigating them. So they kind of had a few years of safety in Romania, and that's where they really blew up and became super grifty and all that kind of stuff. And then they started getting investigated in Romania, and I guess they just started paying people off and engaging in corruption and getting away with it. But then he's so fucking stupid and arrogant, and he decided to post about that and brag about it. So then Romania were like, all right, well, you know, some foreigner coming here talking about how easy it is to bribe officials in Romania, we make an example out of that guy. Like, he doesn't even go here, you know? You don't even speak the fucking language, bro, and you're talking about how good it is for criminals to come over and take advantage of our corrupt system. You want to see a corrupt system? Watch this. And what's so funny about Andrew, like, talking about how much he loved the corruption is that when he starts getting investigated, he starts complaining about it, that they're not playing fair, that they're not playing by the rules, that they're breaking a bunch of laws, that they're not giving him a fair trial, that they're not investigating fairly, all this kind of stuff. And it's like, yeah, dude, that's why you move there. Like, a corrupt government goes both ways. It's never one way, right? In Thailand, if you get a speeding ticket, you can pay the policeman $20 and you won't get fined. But also the policeman can break into your hotel and plant heroin on you for a laugh and you get executed. Like, corruption goes both ways. So if you're going to engage in corruption that's good for you, don't brag about it, because corruption that's bad for you will get its revenge, right? So that was happening. They get investigated, all this kind of stuff. The Romanian officials made some mistakes or filed something wrong or translated something wrong, so they decided to take a pause in the trial and then refile the charges or something. I don't know. It doesn't really make sense. Again, corrupt nation, I don't care. That's how they operate. You can't complain if that's literally the reason why you move there, to engage in corruption. You can't complain about it when corruption comes for you. But then, in the middle of these charges, they were reportedly someone from the Trump administration, which is my favorite administration of all time. And as we all know, I've been a longstanding supporter of my president, Donald J. Trump, for as long as I've been trying to get a visa into the United States. And, if I'm trying to get a visa to the United States and there happens to be another president after my president, Donald J. Trump, well, then they will be the best president ever. And America truly is the best country on earth. Well, actually, it's one of the best countries on earth. It's maybe a really close tie with Israel. Anyway, now that my allegiance is out of the way, someone from the Trump admin apparently or reportedly pressured the Romanian government to allow the Tate brothers to travel in between this trial period, as long as they promised to come back to face justice, right? Yeah, sure, I'll come back to Romania to face life in prison at the hands of a corrupt judge official that hates me because I talked shit about him to millions of people and made the reputation of Romania look like a haven for sex traffickers. Sure, I'll come back. Of course, they're not ever going to go back. But of course, you would promise, yeah, I'll come back if you were them. So then they land in America. And again, right, under investigation in the UK, escaped to Romania. If all they did was continue their crimes and shut the fuck up, they would have been fine. But instead, they continued their crimes and bragged about getting away with it. So Romania got them in trouble, right? But then somehow, right, they managed impossibly to escape and move to America. And again, they could have got away with it if they shut the fuck up, delete their Instagram, go dark, enjoy whatever money you have left, right? Presumably, at least according to them, they've got millions of it. So you would think that, these resourceful brothers wouldn't need to brag about sex trafficking on fucking Instagram. I guess they just do it for fun as a hobby. So they go to America, and again, if they shut the fuck up, they would have got away with everything. But he lands in America, and immediately the guy literally makes a video directed at the governor of Florida or something, being like, come and arrest me. Come and get me if you've got so much evidence. Fuck you, dude. I'll do whatever I want. I'm Mr. Tate. And then the governor went, all right, I'm starting my investigation right now. And so they're under investigation for all of the same crimes. Because that's the thing. If all this shit happened online, right? If there is video evidence of you and a minor online, allegedly, right? You can get prosecuted for that no matter where you are, right? In Australia, if you go and fuck around with minors in Bali, when you get home, if we can prove you did it, we arrest you. Right? So if there's video evidence of you doing that, the only way you can escape that is a solution I've come up with that genuinely works all the time. I didn't come up with it. That sounded very wrong. I've never molested a child and then come up with a solution to get away with it. That's not my character. That's not my bag. However, I have seen quite a few people get away with it using this secret method that isn't very secret. So they get to America and they start immediately talking shit about the authorities there and the investigators there and the people that really would probably have left them alone if they shut the fuck up, but they didn't. Right? So they're under investigation in America currently. They haven't been hit with charges, but that's a yet. Right? Cases are being built. Evidence is being allocated. One would imagine that governments are cooperating and swapping and trading evidence. If the UK can get America to arrest Andrew Tate on their behalf, I'm sure their law enforcement and investigation departments are sending videos back and forth, if you know what I mean. So then he gets arrested by American police on behalf of the UK, and they want to extradite him because there's something like, I don't know, like 40 charges. And at least a dozen of these charges carry like 20-year plus sentences. So if they get him on 2, that's the rest of their lives in prison because they're like 40. All they need out of these 40 charges, they just need like 2 to stick, and they're fucked. They're in prison forever. So now they've been arrested by American police on behalf of the UK. So they haven't been charged with anything. In America, they're innocent men for now. They haven't been charged with anything, right? And this is what's so fascinating about this, is that now the Andrew Tate, the Tate brothers are like caught up in this extradition question of, will the United States send innocent citizens to a foreign country to face charges for crimes they did not commit in America that they are not accused of committing in America legally in an official sense yet? It's an interesting ethical question, and it brings up a lot, I think, for America in particular, because when has America ever given up American citizens for Britain? This is like almost reminiscent of the American Revolution, like pouring the tea in the water. Maybe that's what they should do. Britain goes, give us the Tate brothers, and then America goes, you can't have them, and we don't even want them, and then they drown the Tate brothers in the river. I would support that. I'd be all about that. If we could just dump the tea, dump the Tates, I would be for that. But I don't know if that's going to happen. I wonder if they are going to extradite them. It's because it is like it's like a legitimate position for any country to have. The position being, no matter what any of our citizens are accused of doing in foreign nations, we don't extradite our own. We look after our own, and if we determine that they've done something illegal, we will punish them. That's a legitimate position to take for any country. So it's like, I hope he gets extradited, but if he doesn't, I can't fault the American government for making that decision. But that does mean, if you don't extradite for another country won't extradite for you. So it brings up like a mutual trade scenario. It's like essentially like trading hostages, yeah? So if with this very public, very important case, if America decides, actually, no, we're not going to give you our citizens, we'll look after justice and determine if a crime has happened, that does mean that if someone does something horrific in America and somehow escapes to the UK can be like, well, you didn't fucking give us the guys we wanted, so we're not going to give you them. So it kind of stops being a question of, are these guys innocent or guilty, or should this even happen? It becomes like this almost geopolitical dilemma of like, what do we owe other countries? And do we owe other countries more than our own citizens? It's a big question. And I will be interested to see what America's decision is. Because I did see Andrew Tate's lawyer released a statement. Andrew Tate, lawyer. And his lawyer said, basically his statement wasn't even really directed at the UK government at all, or even the police that arrested the Tate brothers. His statement was pretty much pointed at an official that would make the decision to extradite or not. So that's really interesting. And he's basically saying what I was saying, which is like, America doesn't send American citizens to fucking get destroyed by foreign courts, which I think that's a perfectly valid and legitimate position to take for any country, regardless of any crime, because if you are sending your citizens to face justice in other countries, how do you know if it's going to actually be justice, if their definition of justice might be different to yours? For example, if you send someone to, I don't know, Thailand or Bali or places where they do the death penalty, but your country doesn't do the death penalty, it's like, that's an ethical thing. I don't know. I think it's a really interesting part of this. I'm just looking at a news article here. Andrew and Tristan Tate fight extradition in court after Miami arrest. Social media influencers Andrew and Tristan Tate will fight extradition to the United Kingdom, where the brothers are accused of rape and sex trafficking. So this is where the court process in America gets really interesting. They have to fight to not get extradited. So it's not about whether or not they did the crimes, it's about whether or not America is going to extradite them to face justice for crimes they may or may not have committed. But legally, on paper, these are two innocent men. So it feels like maybe that's a hard ask, or it's a big job to get extradited. The Tate brothers appeared in federal court on Monday, local time, for the first time since their weekend arrest, and are being held in federal detention. A U.S. district judge will consider whether they meet the conditions for extradition. U.S. Magistrate Lauren Lewis. Oh, they're going to lose. They got a woman judge. It's over. It's so done. All right, woman judge. Yeah, they're fucked. She's going to watch one video about his opinion on women in authority and be like, okay, well, I don't care. I'm not even reading the case. See you later, buddy. Good luck. Girl boss. Dude, 100%. Woman judge, they're fucked. They're cooked. It's over. The brothers, through their social media empire promoting wealth, male dominance, and misogyny, are among the world's most polarizing internet personalities. Frequently photographed in tailored suits and fitted shirts, and fucking women's capri pants. They wore tan jail uniforms and handcuffs during the brief hearing, and they've got an artist interpretation here, and it's so funny. They've drawn them facing away from the artist, facing the judge, and it's from behind, and this person has given both the brothers giant bald spots. So funny. Their attorney, Joseph McBride, said they should remain in the US. We are, of course, objecting to extradition because Andrew and Tristan Tate are innocent, Mr. McBride said after the hearing. Joseph McBride is the lawyer, and I'm looking at him now, and he's wearing like ridiculous designer sunglasses, a suit that doesn't really fit him. He seems to have veneers, and he's very bald and obviously dyes his eyebrows. These boys are going to lose. These boys are going to lose. They should have got a woman lawyer to balance out the woman judge that's judging over them. Mr. McBride said the brothers were surprised when they were arrested in Miami on Saturday, and that the attempt to have them extradited was politically motivated. There's no question about it, he told reporters. Without providing any details, Mr. McBride said the Tate's case had a lot to do with former British Prime Minister Keir Starmer's decision to step down, and that it was no coincidence that the brothers were arrested after meeting friends in Washington, D.C. We went to see our Congress people in D.C., and now we're getting arrested. This feels political. I would say it's more to do with all of the rapes than any tweets that you've made about Keir Starmer, who's no longer the Prime Minister. I would say that it has a lot to do with the rapes. You know? Don't you think that would have a little bit to do with this? But I don't know. I'm just a guy. I'm just a bloke. I'm just reading. Prosecutors in Britain said the new charges related to 4 new victims were brought after authorities received evidence from Bedfordshire police in southeastern England. I'm going to skip over the allegations because they're upsetting. I want to know about the extradition. I want to know how likely it is. The dual US and British citizens, I didn't know you could be both, that feels illegal, moved to Romania in 2016 and were arrested there in 2022, accused of many awful things. They deny those allegations, and the Romanian case is yet to progress because of legal and procedural issues. Yeah, it seems like the Romanian government actually fucked up and rushed it and made a bunch of mistakes. And then they were like, hey, why'd you do that? And they were like, oops, can we get a redo? And then the Tate brothers were like, hey, you guys can't do that. And then the Romanian government said, I'm sorry, we can do whatever we like. We're corrupt, remember? So I changed my mind. Now this is legal and your rights have changed. Also, you don't have them. Anyway, you're going to prison forever. This is the thing. If I were the Tate brothers, it seems to be they're fucked. No matter where they are, they're fucked. And it seems like they're basically choosing which country's prisons are they going to spend life in. And honestly, I would choose the UK. I think that's where I would like to go to prison. I mean, Andrew Tate would be super, super happy. You know, he's a devout Muslim man. He'd be in there with his brothers. Right? He'd have a great time. They'd love his tight little pants and his shiny bald head. Andrew Tate, 39, first became known a decade ago when he was a contestant on the UK reality television show Big Brother. He was booted from the show when a video appeared to show him assaulting a woman. Yeah, this guy sucks, I think. I want to see, how likely is it? I'm going to ask my good friend ChatGPT. How likely is it for Mr. Tate to be arrested? How do I start a new fucking chat in my good friend ChatGPT's chat? How do you use the... Okay, you know what? I think maybe I just might Google it. But that's the thing. You cannot avoid using AI anymore at all, ever. It's not possible because people used to be like, why would you use AI to look things up when you can just Google it? And now when you Google it, AI gives you an even more wrong answer. How likely is it for Tate to be extradited? Let me see. What incorrect answer does Gemini happen? Okay. It is very likely that a person will be extradited if a valid interstate or international warrant exists for a serious crime, a proper legal request is made, and they do not meet narrow exception criteria. Factors influencing extradition likelihood: seriousness of the crime, they've got that. Validity of the warrant, if the paperwork, identity, and authorization of the interstate or international warrant are legally correct, courts routinely order a prompt return or surrender. Okay, well, assumably that's also correct. Dual criminality and laws. The act must be recognized as an offense in both participating regions. Oh, that's an interesting point. So you can't get arrested, you can't get extradited for something that's not a crime in your home country too. Well, that box is ticked. Well, in America, it seems to be like, kind of depends on how much money you have and who your friends are and how many videos of them assaulting minors you've secretly recorded. Defenses and exceptions. Extradition can fail if there are proven human rights concerns, well, not really that in the UK, risk of the death penalty or torture, none of that. Political motivations behind the charge, that's why they're saying that. That's the only thing they've got. Or if the person is already serving a prison sentence locally. Okay, so the only defense that they can even attempt here is the politically motivated defense. I don't know where they're going to get that from. I think they're fucked, dude. Because 100%, once they get to the UK, that's like, yeah, you're getting 5 billion years. So their only hope is to not get extradited. But that's actually not true. Here is the plan B, which I think they've run out of time for. What they should have done is they should have just become staunch allies of the Greater Israel Project. If those two boys got on Rumble or whatever fucking shithole they have to stream from and just really preached about how good Israel is and they joined the IDF, Israel doesn't extradite for any reason. All right? Have a look at how many pedophiles have been able to flee to Israel and just they live safely ever after. Was it in Australia? I believe it was in Australia. This horrible woman principal of a female Jewish school molested like maybe hundreds of girls and got wind of her getting investigated and about to be arrested for it. So she fled to Israel, and she was there for decades and decades until finally Israel was like, all right, you can have this one. And you look at how many child sex offenders have managed to flee to Israel, and they're just living their life and they're just free there. And that's great. And that's why it's the best country in the world. And it should be even bigger. That's why Israel needs to get even bigger, because because every time someone has sex with a child, they all of a sudden need a home from a Gazan. So that's why it needs to get bigger. They're running out of space. And the homes need to be really big. And that's why they're so obsessed with these tunnels, because that's what they want. Because a tunnel can be converted to a dungeon for a child. Anyway, that's enough about my favorite country who I swear allegiance to.